Prove your freedom.
Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Pie hole. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's time for the daily, folks, the daily monologue Q&A. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about that's happened today. Since I saw you last, well, tell you what, I was up before the crack of dawn. I was up before the crack of dawn was up. And, escaped the bunker, got out, went and pounded on some nails and shit like that. And here we are back. And we can't get away from it, folks. There's no escape from SHTF. Now, we've used the term, and in fact, I'm wearing one of the famous, world infamous Prepared Mind, Fuck Around and Find Out shirts featuring the silhouetted likeness of Kyle Rittenhouse, right? And that mess around, that F around and find out, right? Well, it has a new home right here on the Prepared Mind channel. You won't believe it, folks. It's the U.S. Embassy. That's United States government. The embassy is warning in Kiev that all U.S. citizens should flee the Ukraine. Well, why? Why, right? The U.S. government, it needs to use fear porn? Or is this something different? Fuck around and find out. The U.S. government, folks, has been playing games with Mother Russia, right? Assassination, car bombing of very important people, right? There have been other, shall we say, high-level arkancides of oligarchs and such. But Russia knows. They know. Right? They even named names and put a picture up or identification of a Ukraine honeypot spy, assassin, killer, the most dangerous kind, of course. So yeah, but is Kiev going to be the target of a Russian attack? Is the U.S. Embassy going to be a target of a Russian attack with a nuclear missile standard ordnance? High, one of these hypersonic missiles, or just maybe like for like a car bomb. Now, could it be a real attack, or could it be a false flag and say, yeah, there was lots of provocations, but look at how deadly the Russians are. Now, the mainstream media here in the U.S., folks, will not tell us what NATO and secret organizations have done behind the scenes, like the CIA, MI6. They won't tell us what Mossad is doing. They won't tell us any of those things. What they'll tell us, though, is what they want us to believe. And that is that anything bad happens, it was unjustified, and the U.S. is morally superior, and we should increase sanctions, increase war efforts, increase support, yada, yada, and yada. That's what we can expect. At least that's my opinion. What is yours? Your opinion, folks. Get them in. Get them in the questions. Get them into Jolene so we know, right, what you want to talk about. So we can all share that information, right? We can share the questions and then put some information out there and see what you guys think, right? Now, Ukraine. That's right, folks. Ukraine, where we sent, what, $65, $70 billion? Don't worry. That number is going to change. No. Sorry. Voldemort, mini Zelensky, he is not going to give the money back. All they got to do is shave that guy's head, right? And have him walk around like this, and he'll look like Klaus Schwab's mini-me. Okay, right. Anyways, the Biden regime here in Washington, D.C., they're going to give another $3 billion to Ukraine, folks. Another $3 billion. That's your wealth. Your money, the wealth that belongs to the people of this country. As we go down the shitter economically, as we go down, guess what? They're going to make it even harder for us by giving away wealth and saying, you, America, you can pay it back in taxes, but don't worry, they'll find that money, no problem. It's called 87,000 new IRS agents. Unbelievable. Are you prepared? Are you prepared? Right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Do you have your plan? I've been talking to business people, people in business, people who live in the real world, have to pay their own bills. And they're getting ready, folks, down here, even down south, where people from the north are coming and bringing money. They're now getting ready for this economic downturn to just smash into everybody. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, Bonnie Blue checked in, and she sent us an article. California gives children rights to undergo. California gives children the rights to undergo abortion and medical gender transitioning. So the state, the government can tell children, hey, you can do whatever medical procedure you want, and your parents can't stop you. We'll keep it secret. We'll help arrange it for you. But these same children don't have a right, an adult right, to see advertisements for guns. Think about it. They're supposed to be so mature and smart and capable of understanding the concepts of sex and the consequences, which is pregnancy, and then you can get an abortion to resolve that and the consequences of that, both physical and psychological. And then same thing goes for, transitioning, being a tranny. No, go ahead. Disfigure your body. Mutilate your genitals. Take drugs. Do they understand? Can kids understand the radical psychological consequences as well as the radical physical consequences, and the fact that the drugs and operations will forever change their lives and it's not reversible? The change, whether you call it an improvement or damage, is permanent. Kids can understand that, but they can't understand guns and the responsible use of them. Yes, folks, government is the idiocracy we've always feared it could be. I mean, what's next? What could they possibly do next for kids? Two kids. They've scared the shit out of them. You're all going to die. Your parents are going to die. Your grandparents are going to die. Put on a mask. Always wear a mask. You're a bad person. The government is all powerful. You see the mental conditioning? It's incredible. I can see the mental conditioning that is being done to these kids. It is awful. Absolutely awful what is happening. I mean, what do you think? You think this is just no big deal and, it's all in a day's work? Or do you think it's diabolical in nature, intentionally being done, prioritizing life's issues? I mean, really, what is a bigger issue? An individual's transition, or our place in the world as a nation, and our place as free people within a nation? And the fact that the government is saying it is all powerful and it can lock you up and forbid you to travel or conduct business or have a bank account. I think that we have some bigger problems that we need to address. But no, right? The governor of California, good old Gavin Newsom, he's right there making sure kids have the strangest, well, we'll call it privileges, because these are given by the state. Right? Rights are inalienable and come from Almighty God. And I'll tell you one of those rights, folks, are parenting rights. The responsibility to raise a child is a parenting right. And if there is no government, that right still exists. And that's the difference between a right and a privilege. A privilege is the government telling you, you can go transition your child and everyone has to accept it. Right? Without government, that no longer exists. It's the difference between rights and privileges. Anyways, back to governors, right? Governor of California, he thinks that's just great. You bet. Now in Florida, Governor DeSantis says, Dr. Fauci, Anthony Fauci, should still be investigated for wrongdoings even though he is leaving government. That's right, folks, as they backpedal and go, hey, hey, this cerveza bug, Jim Jones juice. Yeah, just don't worry about that. We want you to focus on something else. Oh, look, squirrel, right? They're playing that game. Why does it take a state governor to point this out and call for this? You're going to be held responsible, even if you leave government, even if you retire. I mean, where does this notion come from that you can commit crimes, that is, lie, mislead, misdirect, misappropriate, break the law as a government official, and they instantly assume that they have immunity from laws? Crazy, just crazy stuff. Anyways, this puts Governor DeSantis once again in a light that is unusual for a state governor to call and point to a federal bureaucrat and say, if you violated the law, we can press charges at a local level, a state level. And where the hell are the feds on this? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. FBI, Attorney General, Department of Justice, they don't really enforce the law. They enforce political will. And the American people, more than ever, folks, a vast majority recognize and have admitted in polls that, yes, they believe the FBI is politicized. It doesn't have to be a partisan argument. It doesn't have to be. You can just be a normal human being and go, yeah, I see it. I totally see it. Okay. We have a great show, fantastic show. We have some incredible things to talk about. Zombies. Oh, wait a minute. John, did you just fall off the edge of the planet again? No, I didn't. But what is a zombie, folks? Is somebody who appears to be mindless or single-minded in wanting one thing, unhealthy, derelict, ill, right? Filthy, smelly, right? Zombies. How about, could a zombie be a homeless dreg with no respect for intelligent thought, just survivalists at the guttural level? Folks, for you and I, serious SHTF consideration needs to be given this, and talking points to discuss zombies. I'm not talking about, the movie zombies. We're talking about these zombies. Are you ready? Up in the state of Washington, in the city of Seattle, first responders, that would be firemen, ambulance, paramedics, those types. And I know that the police are also first responders, but they're being attacked by the city's homeless population, the zombies. This is incredible. Would you work in an environment where you can be attacked at any point by some ruthless moron, some toothless, smelly scumbag, right? Seattle firefighters have experienced more than 40 violent attacks since April, May, June, July, and we're in August. Just over 4 months, 40 violent attacks. That's about 10 a month. That's not a good record. What is the cause of this? You know, right? We know what the cause is. Liberal policies. There's no escape, folks. The SHTF that's being caused by the liberals. It's incredible. Their policies have increased drugs, have increased trafficking of humans, enslaved, owned people. Crime, drugs, prostitution, trafficking, homelessness. By destroying economies, you make people homeless, and then they're out on the street, and they're in a fend-for mentality, completely fend-for mentality. Ah, man. But, they don't care. They're not looking back at the damage they did. They're looking forward and going, how much more can we cause? How can we control the world? Well, they're going to do it not only on a national level, but international. Get this. We have been talking about the World Economic Forum. We've been calling Klaus Schwab Dr. Evil, right? With good reason. He's trying to take over the world, right? He wants $100 billion zillion. These are not super secret villains. These are people that governments, law enforcement, investigators, Secret Service can go and arrest right now. They've told us what they want. They told us what they're getting ready for. Pandemics to control the population. Economic systems put in place to control the population. Using social media to control the population. How about this? Education to control the population. You bet they're the ones who are out there pushing to destroy social, economic, financial, monetary systems, because that's what's needed to create this social Marxism out there that these elites will continue to control. Now, kids, it's not just zombies that they're using. Well, these kids, convince kids that their parents don't matter, that their parents are evil, that they can do whatever they want, that they're grown up. How about this? The World Economic Forum, the WEF, suggests there are solid, rational reasons to microchip children. And folks, this concept of microchipping includes cybernetic implants, right? It includes anything they want. Once they say, hey, look, you should microchip kids. And they've been pushing this, folks, for fucking 30 years. But now they have the technology. Now they have the political puppets in place. Now they control social media. They control mainstream media. They're controlling the narrative. They're silencing opposition. You and I, we may go back to making videos, putting them on VCR tapes, and then making copies of those tapes and sending them out by snail mail. Well, that's how we used to communicate, folks, prior to the internet. Snail mail. Well, I mean, if you were really cool and really hip, you used a fax machine, but you couldn't send video that way. You couldn't send movies. But what have we learned lately? While shit is hit the fan, what have we learned? Well, the U.S. mail is going to get into your mail and take away any pharmaceuticals. They're going to censor your mail. And UPS, they're not going to allow ammunition, gun parts to be sent. Amazon, that great retail service, nothing gun related allowed. Who are they to tell us what and what not can be sold? Well, John, we can't tell Walmart they have to sell guns. No, we can't. I guess not, huh? But a delivery service, can they say what they will and won't deliver? Oh, folks, it's getting tight. Are you prepared? Literally, are you prepared? It's getting tight, tight, tight as they squeeze down on us. Microchip our kids. Talk about squeezing. Telling kids to hate their parents. That's a squeeze, is it not? Telling parents they can't complain at a school board that is answerable to them. They elect them and they are answerable to them, and they have meetings and they take public comment, and we're not allowed to talk to them. Oh, wait. Sure, and if you do, guess what? You go on a list. The FBI, school board, school union, teachers union list, and you're a domestic extremist. You're a domestic terrorist. Oh, it's unbelievable, folks. It truly is unbelievable. All right. Twitter has committed blatant election interference, in my opinion. I think it's against the law. I think they're at war with our election system. I think at this level, the Twitter level, this is naked criminal behavior. They took down a GOP candidate's Twitter account. Dr. Drew Montez Clark, one day before the election. They're squeezing us, folks. There's no escape from their grasp, right? And by the way, Dr. Drew Montez Clark is a person of color. That's right. He's a handsome man, married to a beautiful woman. He's got what looks to be 4 beautiful children. One that looks like 6, 4, 2, and newborn. That's right. That's right. Screw them. It doesn't matter. Person of color, how dare you, right? How dare you? Let's give it to them the way little Gretchen, the climate Grinch, would. Unbelievable, folks. This squeeze they're putting on. There's no escape. There's no escape the inflation. You have to buy food. And boy, I hope you've been storing food. It was great the other night on the zoo with the Knights of the Round Table. Chris P. Bacon did something amazing. He held up a can of powdered eggs and said, I bought this. It was $25 in that neighborhood. He said, now, a year later, year and a couple of months, I can't remember what he said exactly, but he and I discussed these powdered eggs, right? Not as delicious as fresh eggs, but they're better than starving. Anyways, the price on that has gone up over 300%. Right? And then food on the shelf, we've seen at the stores, has gone up anywhere from 20 to 50 to 100%, depending on which item we're talking about. They're squeezing us economically. They're squeezing our food supply. I saw articles today on drought, and we're going to have issues with crops. I mean, over in Europe, one of the largest rivers that everyone's heard of, the Rhine River, it is running extremely low. It hasn't run this low in hundreds of years when they had an extreme drought back then. Well, who caused all that climate change back then? Or was it just natural? Could that water be being taken out of the Rhine? Could it be being pumped out in voluminous quantities and stored somewhere? I mean, is this a man-made disaster, intentional to scare people? Right? It's absolutely incredible what's going on, folks. In my opinion, this is just naked SHTF. Right? In Joe Biden's America, folks, 50% of employers expect job cuts in the next 6 to 12 months. I didn't say people, workers, people like you and me, who have to go out there and sweat and toil, right? And then go buy expensive bars of soap because inflation goes up. Sweat and toil to pay our bills, not employees. This is half of America's employers. That's the bosses, business owners. They're expecting that there's going to be job cuts in the next 6 to 12 months. You see, and it's not just a couple of people getting laid off, right? If a business has to lay off, cut the jobs of, say, 10 or 20% of their workers, that's because they don't have the money to pay them, to hire them, to perform, to produce products or services. If there's not enough business, it's because people aren't spending money, because people have less money or less disposable income. Essentials you have to buy, like food, and pay for water and your rent and your fuel and your car. You have to pay for that first and foremost. Disposable income is other items in the economy. People will buy cheaper products. Instead of buying that really good soap, you're going to buy the store brand. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but now you don't have the choices you had. That's the changes that are coming. It's no surprise to me and you, because we're preppers, because we're paying attention, because we see this. Like I said, I've been talking to people out there, business owners, management, entrepreneurs, and they're saying, we're getting ready. And that's even in an area down south here where business is good. They're getting ready to tighten their belts. Are you prepared for what's coming also? And folks, like I was talking about earlier, the majority of people, more than 50%, that means it includes Republicans and Democrats, more than 50% understand the FBI are political tools with badges and guns, right? The left knows it. And in fact, one of the left's big spokesmen, right, Bill Mayer, he's a liberal commentator, a self-declared, promoted, proud socialist. He has nailed it, though, and said Hollywood is being insufferably hypocritical. That's right, folks. Even the woke are calling out their own kind. That's how bad, how stupid, how crazy, how out of control this is getting. I don't say these things to scare you, but to let you know that's how dramatic this is. There's no escaping now the recession, even though Biden had the frickin' temerity to state, inflation was 0%. What, minute over minute at 1 minute during the day? I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, like we're going to believe him now. It's incredible. I have so many news stories here. It's incredible. I want to talk about this one before we get to the end, because I started off, I think, talking about, the Dr. Dinglehopper, Fauci. Well, this occurred. This came out. Did you know right now, and I'm not this, I mean, while satire and being a smartass is part of the show, this is a real story. A rare viral disease is affecting children in India. It's some version of the flu. And the symptoms, though, folks, are comparable to cerveza bug. And it also has blisters which resemble monkeypox symptoms. I mean, what did they do? Take a test tube full of cerveza bug and pour in a test tube full of monkeypox, put a cap on it and shake the shit out of it, and then, put a clothespin on their nose, open the lid, and get a fan and blow it out over a crowd? Children, why are children getting the tomato flu? That's an original name. I guess they ran out of scary ones like Delta variant and the Omicron. Oh my God, Omicron. Hey, and they're calling it rare. I've never heard of this in my life, right? Is it rare for real? And just all of a sudden it comes out? Or was it a vial of nasty shit kept in a lab, modified, turning the little Dobbs and Niles, right? Then released at, what appears to be an opportune time. Does the release, this potential weird release, fall in line with Fauci and Gates and the World Health Organization's warnings about more outbreaks, more pandemics? Does this fit in with Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and the Georgia Guidestones, which are no more? Does it fall in line with their calls and desire for population control? Folks, I hate coincidences. I really do. I don't think that this rare viral disease is accidentally out there. I just don't. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not putting forward a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, what have we been seeing? What have we been hearing about? We learned by investigating history that in the past 10 years, the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, Dr. Fauci, and others have come out and talked about population reduction, pandemics, government response, vaccinations, etc., etc., etc. And they say, we didn't know what to do. We didn't have any plans, so we just locked everyone down. We didn't know there would be negative consequences to that. Really? Right. Well, if you thought there'd be a pandemic and you're in the medical industry, don't you think it would have occurred to them that they needed to have a real, viable, workable, and effective response that would contain things? Don't you think they should have had that all laid out? It's the government, after all. That should have all been laid out ahead of time. Kind of like, for SHTF, they have continuity of government plans. They suppose that the potential exists for a global coronal mass ejection that consumes the earth and shuts the electricity off, or an asteroid storm that just wipes out civilization, or a thermonuclear war, or a power grid that just goes down. The government says, hey, we could lose control. See, they're worried about their control. They could lose control, so they need to have a plan for continuity of government. And folks, this isn't new. They've had this continuity of government plan my entire life. Back into the 60s, even into the 50s, with their underground bunkers, their food supply, their plans so that they remain in charge. But you're telling me that for pandemic, all of a sudden they didn't have a plan to give to the people? They couldn't plan that? Unbelievable. Literally, I don't believe them. I don't believe them. Now, before we get to your questions, your comments, and we've got a lot of them today, so I'll be quick here. Trump endorsed gubernatorial candidate in Arizona, Kari Lake, issued a challenge to the Katie Hobbs radical leftists. She says, I think you are a coward. Prove me wrong. She wants to debate her. Folks, these cowards will hide. These cowards will hide. They don't want to come out and face the truth and face the facts and allow us to ask real questions. That's too scary for them. They want to hide behind their authority. They want to hide, folks. That's what they want. And then tell us what to do, right? With their plans they don't have, which just magically spring up. Crazy stuff. I'll tell you what, though. The goose-stepping liberals, they will do as they're told. You are a free human being. You can think on yourself, think for yourself, think on your own, right? They're pitting them against us.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Are you ready?
We are back, and it's time for the Q&A. Jolene, let's start putting some stuff up there and razzle dazzle and see if I can escape. Heidi12 says, where is all the water going? Well, it really surprises me. Back when I was in the great state known as the People's Republic of California, one year Lake Shasta was at record lows. They showed scary pictures, right? The dam, the water is way down. The boat ramps, the marinas, the water was way down. Kind of like they're showing us pictures of Lake Mead. And the next year, folks, we got so much rain, it filled it right back up. How's that possible? Oh, atmospheric river. They tried scaring us with that. You have big rain and you have big droughts. To me, I like to think of it as water mismanagement. Now, the body of water that fills Lake Mead, which puts water down the pipes at Hoover Dam to produce electricity. I guess that water is split off. Some of it goes to Lake Havasu and some goes to Lake Mead. And, water gets sent into Arizona and water gets sent over to Los Angeles. We've got some questions, don't we? Where is all the water? Didn't I just hear, like last month, Yosemite, huge water. I mean, water's falling. And they say, oh, no, I mean, this has been a question, Heidi, a question for a long time, right? They go up and they measure the snowpack in the Sierra Nevadas. And they're like, oh, my gosh, we don't have much snow and there's not much water in it. And then they tell us a drought's coming and then they scare everyone. Yeah, where's the water going? Well, if it was all going in the ocean and staying there, shouldn't we have sea level rise? Well, the sea level hasn't risen, not significantly. And folks, I think less than 3% of the world's ocean or the world's water supply is fresh, right? It's mostly seawater, salt water, undrinkable water. I think they're doing this on purpose. I think they're finding a way to, shall we say, scuttle or destroy the water somehow. They're letting it out of the dam too fast. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's a mystery because when I look at all the water that's held in some of our biggest lakes, like the Great Lakes of North America, who has rights to that water? It's fresh water. Those are freshwater lakes, even though they look like big, almost seas. Who owns that water? The water rights being sold to companies like Nestle and Coca-Cola? Who owns the water rights to these rivers? Cities? States? Right? Who owns this stuff? Where is it going? I have to believe, folks, that this is somehow intentionally being done for profit. For profit. Privatizing control, sale and distribution of our natural resources is something the government has been doing, right? Who gets to cut down timber in the forests? The government will tell you who. Who gets to control the water supply? Well, the government. Well, there is technology out there, folks. It's called desalinization. And they can desalinate, that is, remove the salts and other things from water and create pure, drinkable, fresh water, sweet water, by pumping it, through machinery and sending it back on land. What a great way to make fresh water. And what a great way to make fresh water controllable and to put a price tag on it that is far more than what you pay for a municipal city water supply. Yeah, it's interesting, folks. In many jurisdictions in this country, you're not allowed to impede the flow of water on your property. If it hits your roof, runs down your roof into a gutter and down a drain pipe, you can't touch it. You have to let it continue to go out, go to the street, to a storm drain, and that water belongs to the government, they say. They're trying to control everything, folks. Your food. You want real meat or crickets? Well, you don't have any choice. You're going to have crickets. You want water? You're going to pay for it. What was once just a beautiful system we had where, lawns were green, trees were watered, flowers were beautiful. You could take a shower and smell nice. Now you can't afford soap and you may not have water. Shit has hit the fan, you bet. Countries like India, folks, people go down and bathe in the river and do their clothes in the rivers. It's just crazy. It's a crazy world. It truly is. All right, let's move on. I know we've got more questions. Kevin says, I suspect the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, I suspect the audits will focus on Cerveza bug relief money, bogus unemployment checks, and now rent assistance checks for those who refuse to pay rent. All of that is legally taxable as income. A local housing authority is sending out close to $1 million a month in rent assistance checks. How much of that is fraud? I tell you, that's a big question, right? All this free money went out. Money from the government, money from local things. We have companies that applied for grants illegally, individuals, and we're hearing a little bit about it. Is that who these 87,000 IRS agents are going to go after? The people that got this money, they're basically crooks, right? Not everyone who applied for these grants and programs, but the people who did it illegally and aren't claiming it on their taxes properly. If the IRS goes after them, well, they don't own anything, right? They're probably renting their house, right? Rental checks, rent assessment. They have nothing to take. Nothing to take. So what are they going to do to them? Put them in debtor's prison, right? That's something we don't have in America. If you can't pay your taxes and you've got nothing to take, well, there it is. We're going to bring back debtor's prisons. Oh, you can go to a debtor's gulag in America and start stamping out license plates, producing goods. We could turn into China in just a relative couple years. Something to think about, folks. Something to think about. Great point. Yeah, the IRS agents, who are they going to go after? We've argued, made the case that they're political opponents. The Democrats' political opponents. We have law enforcement, right? The Attorney General's office, the Department of Justice, the FBI have been politicized, and Americans believe it. So why not politicize the IRS? Right? Go right down the line and just go and harass everybody, right, that they know, isn't going to support them. Crazy world, folks. Okay, let's move on again, if we shall. And we have the Appalachian American checking in. And by the way, I want to thank everyone here on the Q&A monologue shows, because you are all at thepreparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. That's right. Those are the premium members who get to join us Monday through Friday. And it only costs $2 a month. That's 7 cents a day. Unbelievable. I want to thank you guys for your support. You help keep the lights on. You help keep spam and tuna fish in the pantry. You help keep us going here. We got bills to pay, and we got to stay on the internet. We have to have everything it takes to stay here, folks, and to put the time and energy into the research, looking around. It's incredible, and you guys are supporting it. So Appalachian American, thank you, and everyone else as well. And he says, around here, we think the raid on Trump wasn't so much to find something on him, but to try and find what he's got on them. What are your thoughts? I agree with this 100% wholeheartedly. I believe it was a fishing expedition to see if they could find anything illegal. But he's been out for 18 months. If there was nuclear secrets and really secret documents, they would have known that those were missing at the beginning of the Biden administration, way back in 2021. So yeah, it would appear that maybe they were concerned that Trump had information on them, research, reports, evidence, proof. And so they would want to search his Mar-a-Lago estate for that. Now, what he should have done is hid them on a laptop that contained all the same evidence of Hunter Biden and his crimes, linking himself to his daddy, big guy Biden, Joe Biden in the White House. That would have been funny if he left pictures and, shall we say, printed transcripts of everything that Hunter Biden did. I wonder if they had that. But I'll tell you what, I mean, really looking in Melania's drawers, I mean, going through her, panties and nylons and hoses, makes me wonder really about the FBI, folks. And the really fun part is the security cameras were rolling. I really find that wonderful. And that evidence is coming. And Trump has, folks, he has filed lawsuit. And it's a brilliant time to do it. You see, the Biden administration is worried and scared. And so maybe someone in the Trump organization leaked, hey, we've got some stuff on you, right? They let a couple people know, hey, FBI, man, I work for Trump and I'm on the thing and they're talking about having information on you guys. You better get in here and get it, right? In time for this to happen, to give the FBI a big fat punch in the nose, right? And now he's going to sue them. Trump is suing the government, folks, and he's seeking a special master to review the documentation. Now, a special master, folks, these are some big legal guns. There's some serious consequences. This is a brilliant move. Now, could this be one of those 4D chess moves that certain Americans love to say Trump is famous for? Right? Brilliant move. Make the FBI look bad and then sue the shit out of them as the election season heats up, so that the American people who support Trump and Republicans and the Constitution and freedom become incensed and they prep to action. Well, that's what we do as preppers and patriots. We prep to action. But all Americans are waking up, folks. They're getting red-pilled over this. Brilliant move by Trump to sue them, whether it was intentional or planned or not. Fact of the matter is, it is now happening. Let's move on, if we shall. Jolene, she's giving me secret, super private messages saying, whoa, we got a lot of action in the bullpen today, and now it's Oregon Patriot up to bat. And he says, I've got a lifetime friend back in Michigan who does not see what's coming. He sees no reason. He sees no reason to prepare. How do you wake people up without pushing too hard and alienating them? This is continuing to be a concern for all of us, Oregon Patriot. We've got friends, lifetime friends, new friends. We've got family. We've got business associates. I was like, why are you not awake? How can you not see this? They're the type of people, folks, that don't believe that a flood is going to get them until the water is lapping at the door, right? Or until mainstream media, the most reliable and believable source, is telling them, right, it's going to flood, right? There's nothing you can do for them. You push hard and they get mad at you. You push hard, they quit talking to you, right? They start calling you a weirdo and a wacko and everything else. You can't push hard. You can just do your best. Try not to lose sleep over it. I mean, you can do everything you can to help them, and they may just reject the message, reject fact, reject truth. Don't look at it as a rejection of you. It's not you and it's not me. It's not personal. they have an objection to hearing an opinion that differs with the propaganda, the mainstream narrative, or their own belief systems. They could also be fearful. Well, if that's true, if what Organ Patron is teaching me, telling me, helping me understand, trying to educate me with, if he's doing all that and I accept it as real, then I have to take action. I have to spend money. I have to invest time. Right? And that's whether they're lazy or fearful, a combination, whether they're ignorant or elitist. So folks, some people are so smart that they outsmart themselves. And so it's no fault of yours, and you shouldn't blame yourself. And again, I've got family, I've got friends, and I'm sure many of them are like, John, you're just way out there. And it's like, really, have you actually looked at what's really happening? And the answer is no. They refuse to look. They absolutely refuse to look. You know, I spend time here with you because we're an audience prepared to accept information and to do something about it. Anyways, Organ Patriot, keep trying, but don't take it personal. Can't say they weren't warned and that you didn't try, but yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. Jolene, what do we have up next? We've got Christine Bihana with a question. Have you heard in France, and she writes, I believe it's France, they're hiring 3,000 new posts for enforcing the green, that would be green agenda. I believe they're hiring Karens. I did catch something about this. I can't remember if it was France or not. It was down there on my priorities list. This is akin to see something, say something. This is akin to turn in your neighbor. Right? That's what this is like. That's what this smells like or is representative of, is someone's willingness to take money to inform on others. Now, there's secret information where, you know, you can just turn people in or you can turn them in for a reward. But these are paid jobs. And see, that's really even more dastardly, because as the economy comes down, people who want to work can't find work or can't be hired because they're complete a-holes. Well, they can go to the government and say, but please, I'll take one of them government jobs. You got any more of them government jobs? Got any more of them government jobs? Right? Yeah, that's them. And they are Karens, folks. They want to tell on people. I mean, if you offered me a job, $100,000 a year, John, we want you to go out and find people breaking the rules, the green rules, right? Find smoking cars, find people who are not recycling, find people who have smoke coming out of their wood-burning chimney, right? Whatever it is, and snitch on them. Would I take that job? I don't think so, right? I might take the job and then not do anything. But I'm sure they have quotas. You will find at least a dozen violators a day. And the government gets to send them a bill, a tax, a penalty. It's just another way to take people's money, control their lives, scare them, and encourage people to side with government. It's a horrifying precedent that government has set, that they're willing to pay. Folks, this happened in Soviet Union, Russia. This happened in Nazi Germany. This has happened in every despotic regime. Informants, tattletales. The current common nomenclature is Karens. All right, let's move on. Jolene, who do we have next? We've got a busy, busy show, a lot of information, and we've got Gary D checking in. He says, Biden announced billions more for Ukraine in weapons and training when many vets are homeless. Thoughts? Yeah, I've got some thoughts, man. And a lot of it has foul language in it. Just thinking in terms of shit. Yeah, we're sending billions, folks, billions of dollars to Ukraine. Considered by all governments and all international institutions as one of the most, if not the most, absolute corrupt governments on the planet. That means everyone, folks, from city administrators, law enforcement, all the way up to the king of trash, Voldemort Zelensky himself, a man who is sending his own people to the front, ill-equipped, ill-trained, with no leadership, no support, no air support, no communication support, right? They're cannon fodder. They're being sent there to be slaughtered, while he sits back, and I'm sure he eats the finest meals. He probably even has chicken Kiev as well as steak, lobster. I'm sure these billions of dollars, a fair portion of that is going to make sure little Zelensky is rewarded for selling out his country and his countrymen. But our vets here at home, our military veterans, they're absolutely being treated poorly. And we continue to get reports from this. And it's upsetting to me when I have veterans send me information, and they have for years, how they can't get the help they need medically. They can't get the medications they need. They can't get the treatment they need. Well, the government will put out, infomercials and television commercials, hey, we're here to help the vets, the Veterans Administration. We're here for you. Well, how much help could our veterans have if they had the $70 billion that has been sent over to Voldemort Zelensky? Right? Training. How hard is training? How expensive is training? Right? Let's see. You send over 1,000 troops, and let's just say each troop, right? Each training specialist in the military, you send over 1,000 of them, and they're all cost $100,000 total to send over there, right? Maybe, that's $100 million, right? 100 million is not billions and billions and billions and billions. Training is cheap. So this money is being spent on munitions. And having 1,000, specialized training folks there, folks, that's incredible, right? We don't have that many drill instructors in the Marine Corps training Marines. 1,000 of them total. I don't think so. Anyways, it's sad. It pisses me off. It's a crime what has been done, right? For the Afghan war, the Iraqi war, the Desert Storm wars, right? The veterans that are alive, going back to Vietnam, are still alive and in, desperate need of good medical attention. I even worked with folks, Korean War vets. It's just, it's very upsetting. Let us do this. Let's move on to another topic. More SHTF that we can't escape from, and it's Big Country. And he says, this is Big Country. He says, my thing is watching everybody say, don't riot and loot. After November, we aren't that party. Why would I riot and loot? Tar and feathers comes to mind, but not looting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think this idea of don't riot and don't loot after November is really not for us, right? They're trying to tell Democrats, you're going to lose the House, probably lose the Senate. And is the right response looting? Right? I mean, will Democrats, the BLM Antifa looting crowd, will they loot their Democrat city that has elected a Democrat representative? They'll have representatives in Washington, these heavy duty, Democrat areas like the one that Ilhan Omar represents, or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Their districts will be just fine, right? Yeah, it's really not for us. But this idea, this concept of tarring and feathering, that's what people used to do to tax collectors. That's what people used to do to carpetbagger government officials. They would pour tar on them, a sticky substance, and cover them in feathers, right, as a form of, punishment. Kind of hard to get that crap off of yourself, isn't it? Tarred and feathered, so that everyone knows what you are. A big chicken? Right. If you're tarred and feathered, it's because you're a bad person. We don't want to make people sick. We don't want to kill them. I'm not recommending anything, by the way, dangerous or harmful or insulting or going after protected classes of people. I'm so sick of hearing that term. Protected class. That's special privilege, and our government isn't supposed to have that. We're not supposed to have special people. We're all supposed to be the same. It's called equality. Well, these special classes come in under equity. They're special. They're victims, whatever. Let's do this. Let's move on. And we've got Oregon Patriot back. He says, speaking of Newsom, that would be Gavin Newsom, governor of California. He says, have you heard the scenario where Vice President Camel Toes Harris steps down and Biden appoints Newsom to vice president before he himself resigns, allowing Newsom to pick his own vice president as he moves up to being president? I've heard a lot of theory on this, and nothing surprises me as being part of their plans. Thank you, Jolene. Nothing surprises me. I don't know what to expect, folks. I just know it is inescapable what is coming. It is inescapable what is being planned. You and I aren't in on it. We don't get to vote on their emergency plans. Remember, folks, Cerveza bug was an emergency. The mandated Jim Jones juice was because of the emergency. The lockdowns, the masks, all of this stuff was emergency powers that the government claimed for themselves. We could have any number of emergencies. Any explosion that's large or targeted and looks to be, well, it could be a dirty bomb. That's the Russians, right? We have an emergency, a state of war. We need to have lockdowns. We need to have curfews. We need to have mandated control. It's incredible, folks. I don't know what is coming. I just know that we need to be prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We need to have that. We certainly do. Now, let's do this. We got another one, Jolene says. What do we have here? We've got Eli in the Wolverine state. And he says, Zelensky was the Ukraine's energy secretary when Hunter was head of Ukraine Energy Company. Who did Hunter meet with? Well, Hunter met with everybody because he represented, well, what did he represent, really? Did Hunter represent himself? Like the people in Ukraine were scratching their heads and they said, wow, this Hunter Biden guy's over here. Let's put him on the board of Burisma. Yes. Let's put him there. Great idea. Let's do that. Smart. Or did they know that Hunter Biden was the son of Joe Biden and everybody that could would do everything they can to shake his hand, meet him, slip him a card, let them know what power, what position they were in, because they wanted to benefit from a connection to the White House, the executive branch that, in times of emergency can just send money anywhere they want. I don't understand how the Biden administration can just send billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. I didn't vote for that. I don't think Congress voted for it, did they? I mean, really, is that how this works? They can just give money away while denying Americans, our veterans, our people here in this country, taxpayers get to pay more. Oh, it's unbelievable. The generosity of Biden. Sure, the big guy gets his 10%. Time for one more, Jolene. You bet. Let's see what you have. And we've got... We got Kelly, a.k.a. Waterchuck, says, John, what is your take on Russell J. Gould? I'm seeing more and more articles and videos about this guy. Is this guy BS? I don't have enough information to soundly make judgment to say anything. I would like to look into that and keep looking into it. But I will tell you that Dennis Rodman, that's right, the famous basketball player, says he's going to Russia and he's going to try and secure Brittany Griner's release. Now, this one I know all about. Dennis is just one hell of a statesman, spokesman, diplomat, peacemaker, right? He went over there and visited North Korea years ago. That's right. He went and saw Kim Jong-un. Someone better tell Dennis, though, be sure and take some of your own fentanyl because it's illegal over there and you won't be able to go buy it at a pharmacy. And folks, of course, that's why Brittany Griner, whatever her name is, she's sitting in jail with her 10-year sentence for, bringing weed into Russia. How stupid is that? Dennis, make sure you take your own fentanyl. Anyways, this has been a great show, folks, but there is no escaping SHTF. You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. The only place to get it is not at the preparedmind.club. A great place to get you what you need is the preparedmind.club. It's for videos. It's for premium membership. It's for our newsletter. And anyone can go sign up for the newsletter, by the way. That is a free thing. Go to the preparedmind.club and sign up with your email for the newsletter. I don't need your phone number. I don't need your real name. I don't need any other information, just an email. And twice a week, we're trying to get it out to you, right? Just a little bit of information, right? But if you sign up for our premium membership, you will also automatically be signed up for the bi-weekly newsletter, and you'll also get discounts at the club, folks. Good. Thank you, Vincent Boyle. Whoops, that one slipped up there. Yeah. Your support of us is very much appreciated at the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com, folks. Chance favors the Prepared Mind. God bless America. And tell you what, right? God bless all of us on this planet. We need all the help we can get, and there's no escape. The plans that are coming. Have faith. Semper Fi. Always faithful. Pray if you wish, pray if you must, but plan and prepare for what's coming. I'll see you very soon.